Israeli military intelligence warned Netanyahu, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas seize opportunity for a perfect storm.
Last week, Senator Lindsey Graham suggested that the U.S. should target Iran directly instead of these Iranian-affiliated groups in Iraq and Syria. Why is the Pentagon not doing that? Any reaction?
Well, we feel that one, we are extremely mindful of this conflict broadening out into a regional conflict. That's what we do not want to see. We do not want to be pulled into a regional conflict, both from attacks on our troops and also from what is happening in Israel. We feel very confident that the targets that we have selected, one, we know that Iran supports, backs, arms, equips, financially supports these groups and these IRGC locations and their affiliates.
And the Pentagon releases details of U.S. retaliatory strike on Iran-backed militants in the Middle East. Pentagon responds to Lindsey Graham saying that the U.S. should strike Iran directly first. Guys, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and smash the like button. I really would appreciate it. Well, guys, we have a lot to cover in today's video. Israeli military intelligence warned Netanyahu, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas seize opportunity for a perfect storm. And the head of the research division warned in March and July that Israel's socio-political crisis over the judicial overhaul was stirring enemies to a chance of military action.
So this retaliatory strike seems to be the first since these hostilities began where there were people as targets instead of infrastructure or a weapons storage facility. Can you provide any details about why these specific militants were targeted?
So I wouldn't say that I was, well, let me take a step back. The militants were targeted because the AC-130 was able to determine the point of origin from where the close-range ballistic missile was being fired upon or fired to the base. So they were able to take action because they saw the militants. They were able to keep an eye on the movement of these militants as they moved into their vehicles, and that's why they were able to respond. I wouldn't say this is the first time we have responded. Again, we don't read out every single time that how a certain system or capability takes down a drone or rocket attack. We have had other cases where we have responded in retaliation when we were able to identify the point of origin. So it's not our first time, but it is just something that has been, of course, publicly reported, and so wanted to make sure that all the facts were out there.
So, okay, just to pull on that,
Sure.
I have one other topic. So you said it's not the first time that you've responded, but I think you've announced basically all these other strikes, and you've said it's been a weapons storage facility or training facility, and if people have been killed, it has been kind of because of the strike, not because they were being targeted specifically. So you're not saying that like these specific militants were targeted? Do you have any idea who these militants were?
We know that these are Iranian-backed militia members, but again, just to differentiate, we have taken 3 strikes in self-defense, but those were pre-planned. So just a little different here in terms of the nuance of how we're talking about this self-defense strike that we took. What was it? Early morning, I think, our time, Eastern time, we were able to identify the point of origin of these attacks because an AC-130 was up already in the area and therefore was able to respond.
The estimate is that this is one of Israel's weakest points ever. And of course, the head of research division at the military intelligence personally warned Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in letters sent to him in March and July of this year that the socio-political crisis that rocked Israel was encouraging Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas to risk action against the country. And guys, these were some of the early warning signs. We, the United States, the military, saw the warning signs. All right, guys. So this is a huge problem. In fact, Iran-backed Yemen rebels helicopter-borne attack on ships literally raises risks in the crucial Red Sea here, guys. And this is a developing story here. The helicopter-borne Houthi attack on an Israel-linked ship in the Red Sea highlights the danger that is now lurking in one of the world's key shipping routes in the Israel-Hamas war as it rages on. And while the Tehran has denied aiding the Yemen rebel group in launching their attack just this past Sunday, the targeted ship before the assault passed by an American-sanctioned Iranian cargo vessel suspected as serving as a forward spying base in the Red Sea. The rebels dressed the commando style in bulletproof vests, carrying assault rifles. And they covered each other and moved in a military formation before quickly seizing control over the bridge over the Galaxy Leader. Now, while their body camera footage serves as a propaganda coup to bolster their own position in Yemen amid some protests against their rule, it is also signaling a new maritime front that has opened in a region long focused on the Persian Gulf and its narrow mouth at the Strait of Hormuz. And it's also putting new pressure on commercial shippers that are traveling through these waters, and it's threatening to increase insurance costs that would ultimately get passed on to consumers and likely further stretches the U.S. Navy as it tries to serve as the region's security grantor. And it gets worse, guys. It's not just the U.S. and Israel suspecting Iranian involvement. The risk intelligence firm, The Rain, referred to the tactics employed by the Houthis as reminiscent of those used by Iranian paramilitary Revolutionary Guard when seizing vessels in the past over years of tension regarding Tehran's collapsed nuclear deal with world powers. Ombre, who's a private intelligence firm, similarly referred to the operation as an Iranian-style vessel seizure that provides the Houthis with a negotiation lever in much of the same way. Hamas is taking of some 240 hostages in their October 7th attack on Israel did. And that's not all. The White House is also concerned that Iran may actually be providing ballistic missiles to Russia to use against the Ukraine. The White House voiced concern just Tuesday that Iran may actually provide Russia with the ballistic missiles that it needs in order to use against the war in the Ukraine. And obviously, it's very clear that this would be very disastrous for the Ukrainian people. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby noted that Iran already has been providing Russia with unmanned aerial vehicles or drones, guided aerial bombs, and artillery ammunition, and may be preparing to go a step further in its support for Russia. By going a step further, does that mean direct Iranian troops involvement? Are we literally on the cusp of World War III at this point? That is the question that is being searched very frequently on Google. Many people as of late are searching, are we headed toward World War III? When will World War III start? It's a very concerning time, guys, and I totally understand. But I do personally believe that you guys appreciate being kept abreast of the situation, and knowledge allows us to prepare ourselves and our families for whatever is coming down the pipeline. Now, Kirby went on and highlighted a September meeting in which Iran hosted Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu to show off a range of ballistic missile systems, sparking U.S. concern, and understandably so, right? Quote, "We are therefore concerned that Iran is considering providing Russia with ballistic missiles now for use in the Ukraine." This is coming directly from Kirby. He went on to say, in return for that support, Russia has been offering Tehran unprecedented defense cooperation, including on missiles, electronics, and air defense. Kirby's warning came as President Joe Biden's request for more than $61 billion in emergency U.S. funding to continue to support Ukraine's defense remains stalled in Congress. The additional aid for Ukraine is part of a larger $106 billion funding request for the Democratic president that would also support Israel, Taiwan, and the U.S. operations on the border with Mexico. And a growing group of lawmakers in the Republican Party, which controls the House of Representatives, opposes sending any more money to the Ukraine. Now, I got to ask you guys, where do you guys stand on this? Have we sent enough money overseas to the Ukraine? Should we, as American citizens, as American taxpayers, continue to send more money over to the Ukraine? I'd love to hear from you guys. Drop me a comment down below. Also, if you made it this far on the video, please consider dropping a like for the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. I am kindly asking our audience to pray for peace because we genuinely need it at this point. And I'll see you guys on the next one.